Yes. Dr. Minnie in the house. All right.
I appreciate that.
The carnivore diet.
Because of what we eat.
Honestly, you've really touched my heart.
What do you think the biggest depleter outside of our soils? You talked about working out, medications. Like, is there one thing? The soil issue is huge. And as the human race, we've got to solve that. We've got to go back to regenerative agriculture. It's ridiculous. So, but outside of that, that's a long-term problem we're going to have to solve as a collective group of people. But what can we do on an individual level? Like, if we know we're an extreme, running a marathon, like, are there certain activities that you're like, these are the top 5 things that are going to deplete your mineral stores?
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely working out. What caused this and what made me have to jump into this as a chemical engineer and nutritionist later on was I had accumulated so many deficiencies from being a wrestler. I played other sports like football, and you sweat a lot in those sports too, track, but with wrestling, you're minimizing what you're eating, you're maximizing your output. And of course, that's a recipe for hypothyroidism, just self-induced. That's a recipe for nutrient deficiencies, because there's no way you're going to recoup that, roughly 5,000 milligrams of potassium every day that we all need, and that is a huge struggle to get anyway. So I would say extreme exertion. Mm-hmm. This is why, which really leads to, the reason why you'll see an athlete get sick and you're like, wow, they're like 22. I don't understand like how they're like 22, they're ripped, they have no body fat, they're young, they're just all the thing, and yet they'll get sick. This is why. This is absolutely why. It's because we're just the same nutrient deficiency pattern as someone in their 80s that's unhealthy. I mean, there are healthy 80-year-olds that don't have nutrient deficiency like that.
Would it be fair to say that pretty much every human is mineral deficient?
Yes, it would. I don't like to quote the CDC much, but even their estimates, because they're so conservative, they say 96% of people have at least one deficiency that is holding them back in their health. So
crazy.
Yeah. And something like 90% have 8 or more. I think that's fairly conservative as well.